Hello, my name is Thomas. I'm a member of the support team over here at ISPolitical, and today we will be going through compliance reporting and setting up your filer record if you haven't done that yet. So, to get started, we're going to go to reports and then compliance. And since I haven't set up my filer yet in this database, I'm going to have to do that first. So if you've already added the organization record for your committee, important to note that your filer is the committee that you're filing for, not the person doing the filing. So if you've already added your committee record, you can go ahead and search that here. And then once you select it, a button will pop up down here that says set, and you can set that as your filer. So mine's not in here yet. So I'm going to add it first. So I'm going to go to add/search. I'm going to hit organizations. And I'm just going to type in the name of my committee here. So we'll go YouTube pack. No results found. That's expected. So then I'm going to hit add organization. And I can fill out details about my pack here. So YouTube pack. Of course, I'm a political committee. Just fill out as much information as you have here. I'm just going to keep it pretty bare minimum just for testing purposes. And now I'm going to hit add. So now that I've got that record added to the database, I can go back to reports, compliance. It's going to force me to set a filer. I can now search for that record that I just added, YouTube pack, and hit set. So now that I've set a filer, it's going to show me the compliance reporting page. So like I've said, I am a federal filer. So it's going to show me all the federal reports here. We can just kind of walk through a Form 3X here. So you'll notice that the About section will change depending on different versions of the report that you select here. Most people just leave the compliance report version as the default one. The FEC doesn't care which one you use, but most people just leave this one alone here. And then we need to basically just fill out the report parameters here. What I always like to say is that it's on you to get your data into our system and accurate. And then you come here, you generate our report, and then our system just kind of does the rest. And we have a lot of really great error checking that our system does to make sure that you don't file a bad report. So let's pretend that we are generating a July quarterly report. So that is going to have a date range of April 1st through June 30th. And you can either click through the calendar here, or you can also type. So I'm just going to type 06/30/2024. And then current election, that's just going to show you the elections you have in your database. So I have just one 2024 general election in here, so I'm going to select that. If you need to add a different election, you can do so on the lists page, lists, and then elections. And then we have the report period. Oh, before I talk about that, if you need to amend a report through our system, all you have to do is select this box, and then a couple other fields will pop up here. So we have amended compliance report. So essentially you just click here and select the report that you're amending. If you've already filed out of our system before, then the filed compliance reports that you filed will show up here. If not, if you filed it outside of our system, you can hit filed outside of ISP. You grab your original report number, which you can find on the FEC's website, and then number of amendments. So if it's your first amendment, you can put 1. If it's your 10th amendment, you can put 10, and so on. But I'm not amending, so I'm just going to uncheck that box here. So then we have report period. That is going to coincide with your date range. So we've got a bunch of report periods here. The one that we're generating is the July quarterly. So that is here. July quarterly due July 15th. And then we have the previous unitemized individual donations. So that is going to come from your prior report. And you can actually hover over this little question mark here to find more information. So it comes from line 11AII, column B on your previously filed report. So you can either go there and find it. If this is your first report, then you can just put 0. Or if you've already filed with the FEC before, or if your last report was filed with the FEC, you can just hit this cool little button where it says get from FEC, and it will actually snag that previous unitemized amount from the prior report for you. So super easy. Of course, I've never filed before for this committee, so I'm just going to go ahead and put 0. And then the rest of this is really just preference. So you can generate the report in all caps if you want. You can change your sort order, and then you can add a note as well. But once you've set this up, which my report parameters look great here, I'm just going to hit generate. And since I don't have any data in here, this should be a relatively quick generation process here. You'll see at the top, it's kind of walking me through where it's at in the generation process. So it'll assemble my filer info, it'll build all the schedules, it'll do some error checking, and then it will tell me when it's done. And another thing is that if this was going to be a massive, massive report that was going to take, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes to generate, our system will give you the option to generate that report in the background, and then we'll email it to you when it's done. That way you don't have to sit here, wait for it to generate. You can go do other things in the database while you wait for that. And during the generation process, I mentioned that our system has a lot of really great error checking that it does. And the cool part about our error checking is that all of our errors, well, most of our errors are clickable links. So if you have a missing address for a potential donor or for a donor that's over that itemization threshold, then our system will give you that error. You can click on that error, and then that person's record will pop up right there on the screen, and you can add in their address. So that'll make more sense here in just a second once we see what kind of errors we've got. I imagine since I haven't added hardly any data in here, I don't really have my filer committee set up correctly, that I'll probably have a few fatal errors. We can talk more about fatal errors here in a second. As you can see, fatal, required, critical, letter, warning, potential. These are different kinds of errors that we got. So I've got 3 fatal errors. So I couldn't even file this report if I wanted to. Its system's not even going to let me. Then I have required. So these, like I thought, these are all errors pertaining to my filer record. So let's see here. Like I said, they're clickable, so I can click on this, and then the corresponding record will pop up here on the right. And what I can do is, so I have an invalid FEC committee ID number. And each of these errors also has a little tooltip that you can hover over. You can view a little bit more information about what your error is and also how to solve it. So basically, I need to come in here and I need to click the little edit button in my committee info section, and I need to put in my ID number. So let's just do that. And then hit update. Required committee ID, required treasurer. So yeah, that's another thing. I don't have a treasurer relationship set up with my committee, so I need to come here and I would need to add myself as the affiliated. I'd search my own name here. Relationship type, I could put treasurer. We've got a bunch of relationship types, as you can see. And then I would hit add relationship. And then, so once I fix all my errors, then I can go through, or then I would have to go back and regenerate the report. So I would hit new report here in the bottom left, just regenerate using the same parameters that I used before. And then hopefully I'll get no errors or warnings, and then I can file that report. So let's say I did want to file this. Presumably I would want to look at the PDF first. So you can hit download PDF here to review it. Of course, I can't file this report because of the fatal warnings, but if I did have a report that I could file, I would hit filing, and there would be a button here that says e-file report. And the reason I don't see that is because I can't file it with these fatal errors. But once you have a good report that is fileable, you'll see an e-file report button here just above save to file later. And then that is where you can enter in your FEC filing password and then hit submit report. And that's how you file your compliance reports through our system. Another thing that you can do on this page is you can hit related pages at the bottom. You can hit manage filers. That'll view your filer committees, like the one we added earlier, YouTube PAC. And you can also hit view previously generated to view reports that you have filed before, that you've generated previously. So there's 3 tabs. We have all, saved for filing, and is filed. So I've only ever generated one report out of this system. So this is the only one I see here, the one that I just generated a few minutes ago. And if I filed this, I could hit yes for is filed, mark this report as filed, yes. You can hover over the little I here to see who generated that report. And yeah, that is the basics of compliance reporting.